You can tell a marriage is over when you know your wife's perfume by the scent of the guy she's cheating with. I'm Nick Martell, 42 years old, sitting in my kitchen at 11:30 on a Tuesday night, nursing a lukewarm beer and watching the door like some pathetic dog waiting for his owner. The house creaks around me. This old Victorian we bought 15 years ago when we still said we and meant it. Now it's just me, the ghosts of better times, and the lingering smell of Allison's guilt. The front door clicks open. Heels on hardwood, that particular rhythm I've memorized over 18 years of marriage. Allison appears in the doorway, still beautiful at 38, still capable of making my chest tighten with want and rage in equal measure. "You're up late," she says, not quite meeting my eyes. Her auburn hair is slightly mussed, lipstick refreshed, but not perfect. The signs are all there if you know how to read them. Couldn't sleep. I take a sip of beer, watching her fidget with her purse strap. "How was the client dinner?" "Fine. Long. You know how these agency things go." She's already moving toward the stairs, desperate to escape this conversation. "Which client?" She pauses, one foot on the bottom step. "The Morrison account. Very demanding." I nod slowly. Morrison account ended 3 months ago. I know because I still handle our taxes, still see the invoices. Amazing how creative my wife has become with her storytelling. "Allison," my voice stops her cold. "Sophie called earlier." Her shoulders tense. "Our adopted daughter, 22 and brilliant. The one good thing we managed to do right together." "What did she want?" "To know why her father wasn't at her graduation ceremony today." The silence stretches between us like a chasm. Allison turns slowly, and for the first time tonight, she looks directly at me. Her green eyes, once warm with love, now cold as winter glass. "That was for special people, Nick." 3 words, that's all it took to end 18 years of marriage. Not the cheating, not the lies, not the slow erosion of everything we'd built together. Just those 3 words, delivered with the casual cruelty of someone who's already moved on. "I see." I set down my beer with deliberate care. "And I'm not special anymore." "You're being dramatic." "Am I?" I stand up, surprised by how calm I feel. "Our daughter graduates summa cum laude from Boston University, and her father isn't special enough to attend. But Cameron Foster from your office was there, wasn't he?" Her face goes white. Bingo. "How did you—" "Sophie posted pictures on Instagram. Funny thing about social media, it makes secrets hard to keep." I pull out my phone, swipe to the photo. There's my daughter in her cap and gown, radiant with achievement. And there's my wife, arm around a tall man with silver temples and a smile that screams money and arrogance. "Nice suit, by the way, Armani." Allison's mouth opens and closes like a fish gasping for air. "The thing is," I continue, my voice steady as granite, "I could forgive the affair. Hell, I could probably even forgive missing the graduation. But lying to my face while asking me to pay Sophie's student loans? That's just insulting." "Nick, let me explain." "No need. It's all very clear now." I head for the stairs, pausing beside her. She smells like expensive cologne and betrayal. By the way, Cameron might want to switch aftershaves. Obsession went out of style in the 90s. I climb the stairs to my attic office, leaving my wife standing in our kitchen like a stranger in her own home, which I suppose she is now. The attic is my sanctuary. Exposed beams, slanted ceiling, walls lined with filing cabinets, and the detritus of my career as a freelance investigator. Used to be a journalist until the newspaper industry died a slow, agonizing end. Now I find missing persons, dig up dirt for divorce lawyers, and occasionally help insurance companies catch fraudsters. It's not glamorous work, but it pays the bills and keeps my skills sharp. Skills I'm going to need now. I boot up my computer and start typing. If Allison wants to play games, she picked the wrong opponent. I've spent 20 years learning how to uncover secrets, and my wife just became my most interesting case. My phone buzzes. Text message from an unknown number. "Your daughter has been taken. We need $50,000 for her safe return. Instructions to follow." I stare at the screen for exactly 3 seconds, then burst out laughing. The sound echoes through the attic, harsh and bitter. Another text. "This is not a joke. We have Sophie." I dial the number. It rings twice before a nervous male voice answers. "You got our message?" "Yeah, I got it." I lean back in my chair, grinning. Now, let me guess, you need the money in unmarked bills dropped at some abandoned warehouse? This isn't funny, man. Your daughter is probably in her dorm room at BU posting selfies and complaining about her hangover on Twitter. I pull up her social media feed. Sure enough, there she is 20 minutes ago. Very much not abducted. Nice try, though. Really creative. Wait, how did you? Pro tip, if you're going to fake abducting, maybe don't target the daughter of a private investigator. Also, caller ID shows this number is registered to a burner phone purchased yesterday at a convenience store in Malden, the same store that's 3 blocks from Cameron Foster's apartment. Dead silence. Tell Cam his plan needs work, and next time he wants to threaten me, he should do it himself instead of hiring some community college dropout to make scary phone calls. I hang up and immediately dial Detective Ray Miles, my contact at the local police department. Ray's a good cop, cynical, perpetually hungry, and blessed with flexible morals when it comes to helping old friends. Miles, Ray, it's Nick. I need to report an extortion attempt. Jesus, Nick, it's almost midnight. Sorry, but this couldn't wait. Someone just tried to shake me down for 50 grand, claiming they abducted my daughter. Is she safe? She's fine. Posted on social media 20 minutes ago. But I've got recordings of the calls, and I'm pretty sure I know who's behind it. Ray sighs. Bring everything to the station tomorrow morning. We'll open a case. Thanks, Ray, I owe you one. You owe me about 20, but who's counting? I hang up and lean back in my chair, staring at the ceiling. 18 years of marriage, and it comes down to this. My wife and her boyfriend trying to extort money from me with fake abducting threats. The sheer stupidity of it would be impressive if it wasn't so pathetic. My computer chimes with an email notification. Sophie, writing from her dorm room. Dad, I'm sorry about what Mom said tonight. You are special to me, always. Can we have lunch this weekend? Just us? I type back quickly. Absolutely. And Sophie, I'm proud of you. Summa semen laude from BU is no small thing. Her response comes immediately. Thanks, Dad. I love you. At least I still have my daughter. That's something Allison can't take away from me, no matter how hard she tries. I open a new file on my computer and title it Allison Martell, Cheating Investigation. Time to find out exactly what my wife has been up to and with whom. If she wants to play dirty, I'll show her what dirty really looks like. The game is on. I wake up at 6 a.m. to the sound of Allison's shower running. By the time she comes downstairs, dressed in her power suit and carrying her designer briefcase, I'm already at the kitchen table with coffee and a bowl of cereal, looking like the picture of domestic normalcy. Morning, she says, not quite meeting my eyes. Morning, sleep well? Fine. She pours coffee into her travel mug, movements sharp and efficient. I'll be late tonight. Big presentation. Of course you will. I don't look up from my newspaper. Say hi to Cameron for me. She freezes with the coffee pot halfway to the counter. I don't know what you think you know. I know plenty, Allison. The question is what I'm going to do about it. She slams the pot down hard enough to rattle the counter. Are you threatening me? I fold the newspaper carefully and look at her, really look at her. When did she become this stranger? When did the woman I fell in love with turn into someone capable of such casual cruelty? I don't make threats. I'm just saying that actions have consequences. You taught me that, remember? Back when you still pretended to care about things like honesty and loyalty. Her face flushes red. You have no idea what I've been going through. What it's like being married to someone who's given up on everything. Given up? I stand slowly. I've been working my buttocks off to keep this house, pay Sophie's tuition, maintain some kind of life for us, while you've been playing house with your boss and lying to my face about it. Cameron isn't my boss. He's the creative director. You're an account manager. That makes him your boss. I step closer. And apparently your side piece. Must be convenient, mixing business with pleasure. She grabs her purse and briefcase. I don't have to listen to this. No, you don't. But you're going to anyway, because for the first time in months, someone is telling you the truth instead of what you want to hear. She storms out without another word. The front door slams hard enough to shake the windows. I finish my coffee in peace, then head up to my office. Time to get to work. First stop, Ray Miles at the police station. I bring him the recordings from last night's extortion attempt, along with everything I've gathered about the burner phone and its connection to Cameron Foster. This is pretty thin, Ray says. Reviewing my notes, you've got circumstantial evidence at best. It's enough to start an investigation. And once you start digging into Foster's finances, I guarantee you'll find more. Ray leans back in his chair. What's this really about, Nick? You want us to investigate your wife's boyfriend for harassment? I want you to investigate an extortion attempt. What you find beyond that is up to you. He studies me for a long moment. You're playing a dangerous game. I'm playing the only game left. Allison made the rules when she decided to humiliate me at our daughter's graduation and then try to shake me down for money. Ray nods slowly. Okay, I'll open a case, but Nick, be careful. Revenge has a way of biting you in the buttocks. Good thing I've got a strong jaw. From the police station, I drive to my old mentor's house. Ray Kowalski, not to be confused with Detective Miles, is a retired private investigator who taught me everything I know about the business. He's 73, built like a fire hydrant, and has the moral flexibility of a career criminal. Nicky! He opens the door with a grin, cigar clamped between his teeth. What brings you to my humble palace? Ray's humble palace is a converted warehouse in the industrial district, filled with surveillance equipment, filing cabinets, and enough bourbon to stock a small bar. I need help with a case. Personal or professional? Both. He pours 2 glasses of bourbon even though it's not even 10 a.m. Tell Uncle Ray all about it. I lay out the whole story, the affair, the graduation, the extortion attempt, everything. Ray listens without interrupting, occasionally nodding or making notes on a legal pad. So, he says when I finish, you want to destroy your wife and her boyfriend. I want justice. Same thing in this case. He drains his bourbon. What do you need from me? Equipment, advice, maybe some backup if things get messy. You got it. But first, let's talk strategy. He pulls out a map of the city and spreads it on his desk. If we're going to do this, we do it right. No half measures, no sloppy work. We're going to turn their lives inside out and shake them until all the secrets fall out. I was hoping you'd say that. We spend the next 2 hours planning. Ray provides me with a GPS tracker, a high-end camera with telephoto lens, and a device that can intercept text messages and phone calls within a 50-foot radius. All technically illegal without a warrant, but Ray has never been one to worry about technicalities. Remember, he says as I load the equipment into my car, the key to a good investigation is patience. Don't rush, don't get emotional, and document everything. By the time you're done, you'll know more about these two than they know about themselves. I spend the rest of the day setting up surveillance on Cameron Foster. His apartment building is a converted warehouse in the trendy part of downtown, all exposed brick and floor-to-ceiling windows. The kind of place that screams, I have more money than taste. I park across the street with a clear view of the entrance and settle in to wait. Surveillance is 90% boredom and 10% pure adrenaline. Today feels like it's going to be heavy on the boredom. At 2:30 p.m., my patience is rewarded. Allison's BMW pulls up to the building. She gets out, looks around nervously, then hurries inside. She's not supposed to be off work for another 3 hours. I snap photos with the telephoto lens, capturing her entering the building, the timestamp clearly visible. Then I settle back to wait. They emerge 2 hours later, Allison looking disheveled despite her obvious attempts to fix her appearance. Her hair is mussed, lipstick gone, and there's a satisfied glow about her that makes my stomach churn. Cameron Foster is exactly what I expected. Tall, silver-haired, wearing a suit that costs more than most people make in a month. He has the kind of confident swagger that comes from never being told no, never facing real consequences for his actions. That's about to change. I follow them to an upscale restaurant downtown, staying far enough back to avoid detection. They sit at a corner table, hands intertwined, looking for all the world like a couple celebrating their anniversary instead of 2 people destroying a marriage. The telephoto lens captures everything, their intimate conversation, the way he feeds her bites of dessert, the moment when he slides a small jewelry box across the table. Allison opens it and gasps, then leans across to kiss him passionately. I snap photo after photo, building a comprehensive record of their affair. By the time they leave the restaurant, I have enough evidence to end both their careers and destroy their reputations. But I'm just getting started. They part ways in the parking lot. Allison heading home to maintain her charade, Cameron returning to his apartment. I follow him, watching as he parks his silver Porsche in the building's garage. Time for the first message. I wait until he's inside, a then approach his car. The GPS tracker goes under the rear bumper, invisible unless you know where to look. Then I take out my keys and carve a simple message into the hood, home wrecker. It's petty, juvenile, and deeply satisfying. As I walk back to my car, I notice someone watching from the building's lobby. A young woman with short blonde hair and thick-rimmed glasses, staring at me with obvious interest. She raises her hand in a small wave, then disappears back into the building. Interesting. Someone else who's not a fan of Cameron Foster, perhaps? I drive home feeling better than I have in months. The game is officially underway, and I'm holding all the cards. Allison is already home when I arrive, sitting at the kitchen table with her laptop open, trying to look busy. "How was work?" I ask casually. "Busy, very busy." She doesn't look up from her screen. "I'm sure it was, all that hard work you've been doing." Her fingers pause over the keyboard. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing at all. Just making conversation with my loving, faithful wife." She slams the laptop shut. "If you have something to say, just say it. I already said it last night. You weren't listening then either." I head upstairs to my office, leaving her stewing in her own guilt. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. "Saw what you did to the car. Nice work." I text back, "Who is this?" "Someone who thinks Cameron Foster is a piece of mess. Wanted to grab coffee tomorrow?" I stare at the message for a long moment. An ally or a trap? In my experience, when someone offers help in a situation like this, they usually want something in return, but I'm curious enough to find out what. "Tomorrow at 10 a.m., Rusty Anchor on 5th Street. See you there?" I lean back in my chair, grinning. The game just got more interesting. The Rusty Anchor is the kind of dive bar that serves breakfast beer and doesn't ask questions. It's also neutral territory, the kind of place where you can have a conversation without worrying about who might be listening. I arrive at 10 sharp and scan the room. A few regulars nurse their morning drinks. A construction crew argues about last night's game. And in the corner booth sits the blonde woman from Cameron's building. She waves me over. "You must be Nick. And you are?" "Denise Walsh. I work at the same agency as your wife." She extends her hand. "I'm Cameron's assistant." I sit across from her, studying her face, mid-20s, pretty in a bookish way, with intelligent eyes that miss nothing. "Why are you here, Denise?" "Because Cameron Foster is the aggressor, and I'm tired of watching him destroy people." She signals the bartender for another coffee. "Your wife isn't his first affair, and she won't be his last." "How many others?" "3 that I know of, maybe more." She pulls out her phone, swipes to a photo. "Rebecca from accounting. Lasted 6 months before he got bored. She transferred to our Los Angeles office just to get away from him." Another swipe. "Jennifer from creative. She was married too. Her husband found out, and they're in the middle of a nasty divorce." "And the third?" Denise's expression darkens. "My sister, Lisa. She was an intern last summer. 19 years old, fresh out of high school. He seduced her, made her all kinds of promises, then dropped her like garbage when the internship ended." "I'm sorry." "Don't be sorry. Help me destroy him." The bartender brings her coffee and a beer for me. It's barely past 10 a.m., but this conversation calls for alcohol. "What do you have in mind?" "I have access to his computer, his calendar, his phone records. I know where he goes, who he sees, what he spends money on." She leans forward. "I also know he's been embezzling from client accounts." That gets my attention. "How much?" "About 200,000 over the past 2 years. Small amounts from different accounts, hidden in fake expense reports and inflated invoices. He thinks he's being clever. Can you prove it?" "I've been documenting everything for months, waiting for the right moment." She slides a flash drive across the table. Financial records, emails, bank statements, everything you need to bury him. I pocket the drive. "Well, what do you want in return?" "I want him gone. I'm fired, disgraced, preferably in prison. And I want your wife to understand what kind of man she's sleeping with." "Allison made her choice. She'll have to live with the consequences." "Fair enough." Denise finishes her coffee. "There's something else you should know. Cameron's been bragging about his plan to get rid of you. The fake abducting? That was just the beginning. He's convinced Allison to file for divorce and claim you've been abusive. They're planning to take the house, your savings, everything." The beer tastes bitter in my mouth. "When?" "Soon, maybe this week." She stands to leave. "Be careful, Nick. Cameron's more dangerous than he looks." After she leaves, I sit in the bar for another hour, processing this information. My wife isn't just cheating. She's actively plotting to destroy me. The woman I loved, the mother of my daughter, has become my enemy. Fine. If that's how she wants to play it, I'll give her a war she'll never forget. I drive home to find Allison packing a suitcase in our bedroom. Going somewhere? She jumps, startled. Just a business trip, last-minute thing. Where to? Chicago, client meeting. She won't meet my eyes. I walk to the dresser and pick up a receipt that's fallen on the floor. Hotel reservation for 2 at a romantic bed and breakfast in Vermont. This weekend. Funny, this says Vermont. Her face goes white. That's an old receipt. Dated yesterday. I hold it up. The Maple Inn. Couples retreat package. Very romantic. She snatches the receipt from my hand. It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think. You and Cameron playing house in Vermont while I sit here like an idiot, paying the bills and pretending I don't know what's happening. Nick, please. No. My voice is quiet, controlled. We're past the point of explanations. You want out of this marriage? Fine, but you're not taking me for everything I'm worth in the process. I turn to leave, then pause at the door. Oh, and Allison, you might want to ask your boyfriend about his financial situation. I hear it's more complicated than it appears. Her mouth opens in shock, but I'm already walking away. In my office, I plug in Denise's flash drive and start reviewing the files. She wasn't exaggerating. Cameron Foster's a thief and a sloppy one. The evidence is overwhelming, documented in meticulous detail. I copy everything to my own secure server, then start cross-referencing the embezzlement with his personal expenses. Expensive dinners, jewelry purchases, hotel rooms, all paid for with stolen money, including, I notice, with grim satisfaction, the bracelet he gave Allison yesterday. My wife is wearing stolen jewelry, bought with money her boyfriend embezzled from his clients. The irony is almost poetic. I call Detective Miles. Ray, it's Nick. I've got something big for you. How big? $200,000 in embezzled funds, complete documentation, and a suspect who's too arrogant to cover his tracks properly. Jesus, bring it in. On my way. I burn the evidence onto 3 separate discs, keeping one for myself and preparing 2 for the police. As I work, I hear Allison moving around downstairs, probably finishing her packing for the romantic getaway that's about to be ruined. My phone rings. Sophie. Dad, can we move up our lunch? Something's wrong with Mom. She called me crying, saying you were being mean to her. What did you tell her? I told her that didn't sound like you at all. You've never been mean to anyone in your life. Sophie pauses. Dad, what's really going on? I close my eyes. My daughter deserves the truth, but she also deserves to be protected from the ugliness of her parents' marriage falling apart. Your mother and I are having some problems. It's not your fault, and it's not something you need to fix. Are you getting divorced? I don't know yet. Maybe. I'm sorry, Dad. I know you tried to make it work. Thanks, sweetheart. That means a lot. Dad, whatever happens, I'm on your side. I hope you know that. After I hang up, I sit in my chair for a long moment, staring at the evidence spread across my desk. This isn't just about my marriage anymore. It's about justice, about making sure that people who hurt others face consequences for their actions. Cameron Foster has been destroying lives for years, hiding behind his money and position. Allison chose to join him, chose to betray everything we built together. They want to play dirty? I'll show them what dirty really looks like. I head downstairs to find Allison loading her suitcase into her car. Have a nice trip, I call from the front door. She looks up, startled. Nick, don't, just go. Enjoy Vermont. Enjoy the stolen bracelet. Enjoy your lying, cheating boyfriend while you can. What are you talking about? Ask Cameron. He'll explain everything. I smile coldly. If he's honest with you, which, based on his track record, seems unlikely. She drives away without another word, leaving me standing in the driveway of our empty house. Our marriage is over, has been over for months. But the game? The game is just beginning. I get in my car and drive to the police station, humming under my breath. By Monday morning, Cameron Foster's world is going to come crashing down around him, and Allison's going to learn exactly what kind of man she chose over her husband. The call comes at 6 a.m. on Monday. Allison, hysterical. Nick, you have to help me. The police arrested Cameron. They're saying he stole money. I'm already dressed, coffee in hand, watching the sunrise through my kitchen window. I've been awake for 2 hours waiting for this call. That's terrible, I say, not bothering to hide my satisfaction. What kind of money? From the agency, client accounts. But it's not true, Nick. Cameron would never, wouldn't he? I take a sip of coffee. How well do you really know him, Allison? Better than I know you, apparently. Her voice turns vicious. This is your doing, isn't it? You set him up. I didn't set anyone up. I just made sure the police had access to the truth. I sit down at the kitchen table, settling in for a long conversation. Tell me, how was Vermont? Did you enjoy the romantic getaway paid for with stolen money? Silence. The bracelet, too. And the dinners, the hotel rooms, probably half the gifts he's given you over the past year. Your boyfriend is a thief, Allison. And you're an accessory. You coward. She's crying now, ugly sobs that might have moved me once upon a time. You destroyed everything. I didn't destroy anything. You did that all by yourself when you decided to cheat on me with a criminal. I want half of everything. The house, the savings, Sophie's college fund. You'll get what you're entitled to under Massachusetts law, which, considering your cheating and the fact that you conspired to extort money from me, won't be much. I hang up and immediately call my lawyer, Janet Morrison, a sharp woman in her 50s who specializes in high-conflict divorces. Janet, it's Nick Martell. I need to file for divorce. What's the situation? Cheating, conspiracy, attempted extortion. I've got evidence of everything. Bring it all to my office this afternoon. We'll bury her. The next call is to Sophie, who deserves to hear this from me before the gossip mill starts grinding. Dad, I heard about Mom's boyfriend getting arrested. Are you okay? I'm fine, sweetheart. Better than I've been in months, actually. What's going to happen now? Your mother and I are getting divorced. It's going to be messy for a while, but it'll work out. I'm sorry, Dad. I know you didn't want this. Sometimes things end, Sophie. That doesn't mean they were a mistake. I got 18 good years with your mother, and I got you. That's not nothing. I love you, Dad. I love you too. The rest of Monday passes in a blur of legal meetings and paperwork. Janet reviews my evidence with obvious glee. She's the kind of lawyer who enjoys destroying cheating spouses. This is a slam dunk, she says. With the cheating evidence and the extortion attempt, she'll be lucky to get 20% of the assets. What about the house? You'll keep it. She abandoned the marital home to carry on an affair with a criminal. No judge in the state will give her claim to it. Tuesday morning, I'm having breakfast when Detective Miles calls. Nick, you need to see this. Foster's lawyer's claiming you planted the evidence. That's ridiculous. I gave you financial records that his own assistant compiled. I know, but he's got expensive lawyers and they're making noise about entrapment and legal surveillance. Are you worried? Not really. The evidence is solid and we've got corroboration from multiple sources. But it might get messy. Let it get messy. I've got nothing to hide. That afternoon, I'm in my office when I hear a car door slam in the driveway. Through the window, I see Allison marching toward the front door, her face twisted with rage. She doesn't bother knocking, just storms into the house like she still lives here. Nick, get down here! I take my time walking downstairs. She's standing in the living room, still beautiful but haggard, her perfect facade finally cracking. You son of an unpleasant person, you destroyed him. I exposed him, there's a difference. Cameron never hurt anyone, he's a good man. He's a thief and an aggressor. Ask Denise Walsh about her 19-year-old sister. Allison's face goes white. That's not, he wouldn't he? How many other women has he seduced with promises he never intended to keep? How many other marriages has he destroyed? She sinks into the couch, the fight going out of her. This isn't how it was supposed to happen. How is it supposed to happen? You and Cameron ride off into the sunset with my money while I sit here broken and alone? We fell in love, Nick. Real love, not like this. She gestures around the room. This prison we built together. This prison? I feel my carefully controlled anger starting to slip. This house we bought when Sophie was 7, where we celebrated every birthday, every Christmas, every milestone in her life, where I held you when your mother died, where you held me when I lost my job at the paper. That's not love, that's habit. Maybe, but it's also loyalty, commitment, honor. Things that apparently don't mean anything to you anymore. She stands up, straightening her shoulders. I want my things. Take whatever you want, but you're not taking my life with you. She heads upstairs to pack, and I return to my office. An hour later, I hear her car pull away. She's taken clothes, jewelry, personal items, but left everything that mattered. The photo albums, Sophie's artwork from elementary school, The little mementos of our life together. Maybe she's right. Maybe it was just habit, but it was our habit, built over 18 years of shared experiences and mutual trust. Trust she threw away for a man who's now sitting in a jail cell, facing federal embezzlement charges. Wednesday brings news that Cameron's bail has been set at $500,000. His assets are frozen pending investigation, which means he's staying in jail for the foreseeable future. Allison calls, begging me to help with the bail money. Please, Nick, I know you hate me, but Cameron doesn't deserve this. He stole $200,000 from his clients. He absolutely deserves this. The money was just borrowed. He was going to pay it back. With what? His salary? It would take him 20 years to pay back what he stole, assuming he never spent another dime on his lifestyle. You don't understand. We were going to start over, build something real together. You were going to build something real with stolen money and lies? How romantic. I'm filing for divorce, Nick, and I'm going to fight for everything. Go ahead, my lawyer's looking forward to it. Thursday, Janet calls with an update. Allison's hired Patricia Vance. She's good, but she's got nothing to work with. The cheating evidence is ironclad, and the extortion attempt makes her look like a criminal. What's her strategy? Claiming you were emotionally abusive, that she was forced into the affair by your neglect and cruelty. I laugh. Good luck proving that. I've got 18 years of friends and family who can testify to the contrary. That's what I told her lawyer. She's going to try to drag this out, make it expensive and painful. But she can't win. Friday afternoon, I'm at the Rusty Anchor having a beer with Ray Kowalski when Denise Walsh walks in. Mind if I join you? Please. I gesture to an empty chair. How are things at the agency? Chaotic. Half the staff is being questioned by the FBI. Clients are pulling accounts, and the partners are in full damage control mode. What about Allison? Suspended pending investigation. They can't fire her yet, but she's radioactive. No one wants to be associated with Cameron's scandal. Ray grins. Sounds like justice to me. It is, Denise orders a beer. Nick, I wanted to thank you. My sister finally feels like she can move on, knowing that Cameron's facing consequences. How is she? Better. She's in therapy, working through what he did to her. But seeing him in handcuffs on the news, it helped. We drink in comfortable silence for a while, watching the afternoon crowd filter in. Construction workers, office drones, retirees with nothing better to do. The regular cast of characters that makes the Rusty Anchor feel like home. What's next? Ray asks. Divorce proceedings start Monday. After that, I shrug. I guess I figure out what my life looks like without Allison. Any regrets? I consider the question seriously. Do I regret destroying my wife's affair? Exposing her boyfriend as a criminal? Fighting back instead of accepting humiliation quietly? No, I say finally. No regrets at all. My phone buzzes with a text from Sophie. Saw the news about Mom's boyfriend. Are you okay? I text back, I'm great, looking forward to our lunch tomorrow. Me too, Dad, I'm proud of you. I finish my beer and head home to my empty house, my empty marriage, my empty bed. But for the first time in months, I don't feel empty myself. I feel free. The divorce hearing is scheduled for a gray Tuesday morning in October. I arrive at the courthouse early, wearing my best suit and carrying a briefcase full of evidence that will end my marriage and destroy what's left of Allison's reputation. Janet Morrison meets me on the courthouse steps, looking like an aggressor who's been starved for weeks. Ready for this? I've been ready for months. Good, because Patricia Vance is going to try every dirty trick in the book. She's desperate. We enter the courtroom to find Allison already seated at the plaintiff's table with her lawyer. She's dressed conservatively, hair pulled back, trying to look like the wronged wife instead of the cheating spouse. She doesn't look at me when I sit down. Judge Harrison is a no-nonsense woman in her 60s who's heard every sob story and every lie in the book. She reviews the case files with obvious distaste. This is a contested divorce with allegations of cheating, abandonment, and conspiracy. Mrs. Vance, your client is seeking 50% of marital assets despite documented infidelity? Patricia Vance stands, smoothing her skirt. Your Honor, my client was driven to seek companionship elsewhere due to years of emotional mistreat and neglect by the defendant. Do you have evidence of this alleged mistreat? We have testimony from Mrs. Martell detailing a pattern of controlling behavior, verbal harassment, and deliberate isolation from friends and family. Judge Harrison looks skeptical. Mr. Morrison, your response? Janet stands with a smile that could cut glass. Your Honor, we have 18 years of documented evidence showing Mr. Martell to be a devoted husband and father. We also have proof that Mrs. Martell engaged in a lengthy affair with her supervisor, conspired to extort money from my client through fake abducting threats, and accepted gifts purchased with embezzled funds. Let's hear it. For the next 2 hours, Janet systematically destroys Allison's case. The photographs from the restaurant, the hotel receipts, the jewelry purchased with stolen money, the recorded phone calls from the fake abducting, it all comes out in excruciating detail. Allison's face grows paler with each revelation. By the time Janet finishes presenting evidence, she looks like she's going to be sick. Mrs. Vance, does your client have any response to this evidence? Patricia Vance looks like a lawyer who's just realized she's been lied to by her client. Your Honor, we maintain that Mrs. Martell was driven to these actions by years of psychological mistreat. Where's your evidence of this mistreat? Mrs. Martell's testimony, the testimony of a documented liar and conspirator? I don't think so. Judge Harrison shuffles through the papers. Mrs. Martell, please stand. Allison rises on shaky legs. You engaged in cheating with a man who has since been convicted of embezzlement. You conspired to extort money from your husband through false abducting claims. You accepted gifts that you knew were purchased with stolen funds. You abandoned the marital home to continue this affair. Is there anything about these facts that you dispute? Your Honor, I can explain. I'm not interested in explanations. I'm interested in facts. Judge Harrison's voice is ice cold. Mr. Martell, please stand. I rise, feeling calmer than I have in months. You have been married for 18 years. You have no history of mistreat, no criminal record, no evidence of misconduct beyond your wife's unsupported allegations. You discovered your wife's affair and responded by gathering evidence and reporting crimes to the appropriate authorities. Is this accurate? Yes, Your Honor. Then let me make this simple. She looks directly at Allison. Mrs. Martell, your conduct in this marriage has been reprehensible. You will receive the minimum allowable under Massachusetts law, 15% of marital assets, no alimony, and no claim to the marital home. Allison's knees buckle. Patricia Vance has to steady her. Mr. Martell, you retain the house, the majority of savings and investments, and full ownership of your business. Child support is not applicable as your daughter is an adult. Judge Harrison bangs her gavel. This divorce is granted. Court dismissed. As people file out of the courtroom, Allison finally looks at me. Her eyes are red with tears, her perfect composure completely shattered. I hope you're happy, she whispers. I'm not happy, Allison. I'm just done. 18 years. Doesn't that mean anything to you? It meant everything to me. That's why this hurts so much. She starts to say something else, but Patricia Vance takes her arm and leads her away. I watch my wife, my ex-wife, walk out of my life forever and feel nothing but relief. Outside the courthouse, Janet shakes my hand. Congratulations! That was one of the most satisfying cases I've ever argued. What happens now? Asset division will take a few weeks to finalize, but you've essentially won everything. She'll get about $40,000 in whatever personal property she took from the house. And Cameron? Sentenced to 5 years in federal prison. He'll serve at least 3. I drive home through streets that look different somehow, brighter and more welcoming than they have in months. The house feels bigger when I walk in, less oppressive. For the first time since this whole mess started, it feels like home again. My phone rings. Sophie. Dad, I heard about the hearing. How did it go? It's over. Finally over. Are you okay? I'm better than okay. I'm free. I'm proud of you, Dad, for fighting back, for not letting them destroy you. Thanks, sweetheart. That means everything to me. Want to have dinner tonight? My treat. I'd love that. After I hang up, I walk through the house, really seeing it for the first time in months. The living room where Sophie took her first steps. The kitchen where Allison and I used to cook together on Sunday mornings. The bedroom where we made love and fought and made up and dreamed about the future. 18 years of memories, not all of them bad. But that chapter of my life is closed now, and it's time to write a new one. I pour myself a bourbon, the good stuff, the bottle I've been saving for a special occasion, and sit on the front porch, watching the neighborhood come alive with the sounds of evening, kids playing in yards, couples walking dogs, the normal rhythm of life continuing despite my personal drama. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Saw the news about the divorce. Congratulations. Denise. I text back, thanks. How are things at the agency? Better. New management, new policies. Cameron's sufferers are finally getting justice. Good. They deserve it. So do you. Enjoy your freedom. I finish my bourbon and head inside to get ready for dinner with Sophie. In the bathroom mirror, I look at my reflection and see something I haven't seen in months. A man who's proud of himself. I fought back. I refused to be a sufferer. I made sure that people who hurt others faced consequences for their actions. Allison chose her path when she decided to betray our marriage. Cameron chose his when he decided to prey on vulnerable women and steal from his clients. I chose mine when I decided to fight instead of surrender. The game is over. I won. 6 months later, I'm sitting in the same courtroom, but this time as a witness in Cameron Foster's civil trial. His sufferers are suing for damages, and I'm here to testify about the evidence I helped gather. Cameron looks terrible. Prison orange instead of Armani suits, hollow cheeks, the arrogant swagger replaced by the hunched posture of a broken man. He doesn't look at me when I take the stand. The prosecutor, a sharp young woman named Lisa Chen, walks me through the evidence methodically. Mr. Martell, how did you first become aware of Mr. Foster's criminal activity? Through my investigation into his affair with my wife, the financial irregularities became apparent when I started documenting their relationship. And you turned this evidence over to law enforcement? Immediately. I felt it was my civic duty. What motivated you to conduct such a thorough investigation? I looked directly at Cameron. I wanted to know who my wife was sleeping with. I discovered she'd chosen an aggressor and a thief. The defense attorney objects, but Judge Martinez overrules him. In your opinion as a professional investigator, was Mr. Foster's embezzlement sophisticated? Not at all. He was sloppy, arrogant, and assumed he'd never be caught. It was amateur hour. The gallery chuckles. Cameron's face reddens. After my testimony, I sit in the back of the courtroom and watch as sufferer after sufferer takes the stand. Rebecca from accounting, who had to transfer across the country to escape his harassment. Jennifer from creative, whose marriage ended because of his manipulation. And finally, Lisa Walsh, Denise's sister, now 20 and strong enough to face her abuser. He told me I was special, she says, voice steady despite her tears. He said he loved me, that we had a future together. Then he threw me away like garbage when the internship ended. Cameron's lawyer tries to discredit her, suggesting she was a willing participant in an adult relationship. Lisa doesn't flinch. I was 19 years old, fresh out of high school, and he was a powerful executive more than twice my age. He used his position to manipulate me, and when I threatened to tell people what he'd done, he had me blacklisted from jobs in the industry. The jury looks disgusted. Cameron's fate is sealed. During the lunch break, I find myself face to face with Allison in the courthouse hallway. She's lost weight, looks older, the expensive clothes replaced by off-the-rack business wear. Nick, she nods stiffly. Allison, how are you? Surviving you? Better than I've been in years? We stand in awkward silence for a moment. Finally, she speaks. I saw Sophie last week. She looks happy. She is. Dean's List again, and she's got an internship lined up at the Globe for the summer. That's good, I'm glad. Allison hesitates. Nick, I know you probably don't want to hear this, but I'm sorry for all of it. Are you sorry you did it, or sorry you got caught? She considers the question seriously. Both, I think. I was so unhappy, so lost, and Cameron made me feel important. Special. I know that's not an excuse. No, it's not, but it's honest. I hurt you. I hurt Sophie. I destroyed our family for a man who turned out to be a monster. Yes, you did. Can you ever forgive me? I look at this woman I once loved, this stranger who shares 18 years of my history, and feel nothing but pity. I already have, Allison. Holding on to anger was poisoning me. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, and it doesn't mean I want you back in my life. She nods, tears in her eyes. I understand. Take care of yourself. Get therapy. Figure out who you are when you're not trying to be someone else's fantasy. I will. And Nick, I'm glad you fought back. Someone needed to stop him. She walks away, and I know it's the last real conversation we'll ever have. 18 years reduced to a hallway encounter outside a courtroom. But there's closure in it, a final punctuation mark on a chapter that I've already moved past. The jury deliberates for less than 2 hours before returning with a verdict in favor of the plaintiffs. Cameron Foster is ordered to pay $3 million in damages, money he doesn't have since his assets were seized to pay restitution for the embezzlement. Justice isn't always pretty, but it's always satisfying. That evening, I'm having dinner at a new restaurant downtown when I spot a familiar face at the bar. Denise Walsh, dressed for a date, looking happier and more confident than I've ever seen her. Nick, she waves me over. I want you to meet someone. This is Marcus, my boyfriend. Marcus, this is Nick Martell, the man who helped bring down Cameron Foster. Marcus is a tall, earnest-looking guy in his 30s with kind eyes and a firm handshake. Denise has told me a lot about you. Thank you for what you did. I just made sure the truth came out. Denise did the real work. We both did, she says, and it was worth it. Cameron's sufferers finally got justice. What's next for you? I got a job with a nonprofit that helps women who've been bothered in the workplace. Turns out my experience with aggressors is actually valuable. That's perfect. What about you? Any romance in your future? I laugh. I'm still figuring out who I am as a single man. Romance can wait. Fair enough, but don't wait too long. You're one of the good ones. I drive home through streets I know by heart, past the agency where Allison used to work, past Cameron's old apartment building, past all the landmarks of a drama that once consumed my life, but now feels like ancient history. At home, I pour myself a bourbon and sit on the front porch, watching the neighborhood settle into evening quiet. Mrs. Geary waves from her garden, and I wave back. Normal life, normal interactions, normal problems that don't involve betrayal and revenge. My phone rings. Sophie. Dad, I have news. I got the internship at the Washington Post, too. They want me to choose between Boston and D.C. That's incredible, sweetheart. Which one are you leaning toward? D.C. It's a bigger opportunity, and I think I need some distance from all the family drama. I think that's smart. I'm proud of you. Thanks, Dad, for everything. For fighting for our family, for showing me what integrity looks like, for being the parent I could count on when everything fell apart. You don't need to thank me for being your father. It's the best job I've ever had. I love you, Dad. I love you too. After I hang up, I sit in the gathering darkness, thinking about the past year. The discovery of Allison's affair, the investigation, the divorce, the trials, the slow process of rebuilding my life from the wreckage of my marriage. I could have handled it differently. I could have confronted Allison quietly, negotiated a peaceful divorce, let Cameron continue his predatory behavior unchallenged. I could have been the bigger person, turned the other cheek, gone gentle into that good night. But I didn't. I fought back. I made sure that people who hurt others faced consequences. I refused to be a sufferer. Some people might call it revenge. I call it justice. The game started when Allison decided to betray our marriage and Cameron decided to destroy other people's lives. It ended when they both faced the consequences of their choices. I didn't win because I was smarter or stronger or more ruthless. I won because I was right, and because I was willing to fight for what mattered. The house is quiet around me, but it doesn't feel empty anymore. It feels peaceful, ready for whatever comes next. I finish my bourbon and head inside, turning off lights and locking doors, the routine gestures of a man who's finally at home in his own life. Tomorrow, I'll start working on a new case, a missing person probably, or an insurance fraud. Normal work for a normal life, the kind of problems that can be solved with patience and skill instead of scorched earth tactics. But tonight, I sleep soundly in my own bed, in my own house, free from lies and betrayal, and the weight of other people's expectations. The game is over. I won. And for the first time in 18 years, I'm exactly where I belong. The end.